Okay, I've got a question. What does a Harry and David gift basket, a terrarium ornament, and an aggressive ex-girlfriend have in common?
Well, somehow, believe it or not, they are all key plot points in 2024's Leah's Perfect Gift. And we've got a lot to talk about, Jennifer.
We do, Josh, and we'll unwrap it all in this episode of Do You Watch What I Watch?
Sit down and watch, then have a talk with Jennifer and Josh.
Okay, Josh, so as we're recording this, we have 7 days until Christmas. 7 days from now, I'm gonna be sad because it will be Christmas morning will have come and gone, Christmas afternoon, and we will be Christmas night. And I'm gonna just look around wondering what's next and what's to come. So we're in the home stretch. It depends on how you look at it. Are you an eggnog glass half full or empty this time of year?
I'm generally half full, but gosh, it seems like this year we had Thanksgiving and then we blinked and now it's Christmas. Like, literally, what happened to December? Anyway, countdown to Christmas rolls on, and we've got another fun one to talk about with you today. This one is Leah's Perfect Gift, brand new out on Hallmark Channel. And here is the plot summary from IMDb. A Christmas lover, Leah has admired the holiday from afar because she's Jewish. Though her family celebrates Hanukkah, Leah has longed to experience a traditional Christmas. When her boyfriend Graham invites her to spend the holidays with his classic Connecticut family, she eagerly accepts, and hijinks soon follow. Let's go.
Okay, so we open on a Christmas village scene, which automatically gives me warm fuzzies because I personally have a Christmas village I inherited from my dad. And so now every year I'm just going to add like a little bit to it. And he was a photographer. So last year I got a little photographer guy and he's in the square of my village taking pictures. This year I got a couple of old men like chatting it up to sit on a bench that I already had. I had the bench, got the old men to sit on it, and immediately my son opened it and dropped it, and a guy's head broke off. Like, just immediately.
That's the way it goes with
And I was like,
kids.
that's okay. Cause this was like late November, and I was like, got plenty of the season ahead of us. Put his body, his carnage on the bench, and I will glue his head on momentarily. And here we are, late December, and I have not. He's just headless in my town. So, that might be 2025. Yeah, I might need to buy a hospital next year and repair him next year. So, anyways, so we see a guy and girl canoodling, and the guy celebrates Christmas, and the girl, Leah, celebrates Hanukkah. But she does love a lot of the decor of Christmas and a lot of the nostalgia around it. They're on their way to meet up with his sister for the first time. And they go, and sister is like the most welcoming, extra excited person I've ever met. Like, you couldn't have asked for a better encounter with the sister. Almost too much, in my opinion, but that's okay. She was very into this relationship, very excited for her brother, loves Leah, all that. We learned Leah made an app called Veg Fleet, which we're going to have to add to our app recap of the season. And, so she's into apps and tech, and that'll come back up, but, it's a warm reception, but we do hear that Leah hasn't met his parents yet. Graham's parents is the guy, so, uh-oh. They just haven't really like, they've planned to come to the city, and they just haven't made it there. So, the couple's gonna go to the Hanukkah celebration at her parents' house that night, and things are going well, they're making latkes, it's a big warm reception there, and then Graham invites her to spend Christmas with his family because, hey, he loves her. Now, I don't know why they hadn't had this conversation prior to the Hanukkah party, but the latkes got him in the Christmas spirit, I guess. So, sure, she says, that'll be great. And, so she agrees, she's pumped, she wants to learn more about the traditions. On the ride there, sister's riding with them, and we glean that there's not many topics that are safe to discuss with this family. And mom and dad rarely are in a good mood at the same time. And they just kind of drop these little nuggets, and immediately my spidey senses are going up that this could be trouble. Trouble could be brewing. What did you think about the beginning of this movie?
I liked it. I liked them as a couple, and I liked this sister character. She seemed like she was really kind of the device that they were gonna use to sort of unpack all the family drama, right? But I'm glad that they cast her as this sort of friend to Leah, because otherwise Leah could have been total fish out of water, and that could have been really
Yeah.
awkward for her.
She would have been alone on a Christmas island, so to speak. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, all right. So they get there, and right away, Leah is fascinated with their nativity scene and the ornaments, but no time for that. Mom is stressed and puts them to work immediately to decorate the tree by 3 p.m. The house is gorgeous, and Mom calls what did I say? Gremlin, which is kind of weird. Like, why would you call your son like Gremlin?
Endearing, maybe?
It's a little
I don't know.
I don't know. Was Graham's dad Pastor Roy from Three Wise Men and a Boy?
Oh, indeed. Yes. I
Oh,
made the same connection. Yeah. Liked him there, liked it here. Yeah.
glad to see him back. So, mom is Barbara Niven, who we, of course, love, longtime fans of, and she's uptight, type A, whatever you want to call her. She's passing out the Christmas schedule, and it's printed in full color, and she's gotten them all Christmas pajamas, and they are carefully unwrapping the pajamas because Mom likes to reuse wrapping paper and trimmings. Now, I will reuse gift bags. In fact, I gave a gift to somebody last week, and they opened it and tossed the bag aside, and I said, "I will be taking that. Thank you." It wasn't even cold yet. Gift bags are expensive. In this economy, come on, that have not saved wrapping paper. I'll do the bags. Anywho, Leah doesn't know that because Graham didn't tell her. So she's like tearing into this like a rabid raccoon. Strike one against Leah.
Mm.
Then mom had gotten them the pajamas, right? Well, Leah's pajamas are like 12 sizes too big. And so that's just kind of awkward. And we just kind of learned that mom's very well and tight. And she's like doing the right things, kind of like doing what she's supposed to be doing as the mother to the son who's bringing the girlfriend home. But she's not like super excited about it. Whereas dad is like a yes man, I guess. There's an ornament hanging system that's in place, and there's a tape measure involved, and quadrants and 4-inch intervals. And Leah, of course, didn't know about that either because Graham didn't tell her about that. So she's like clunking ornaments everywhere. This is her first time decorating a Christmas tree, and mom is not happy about that either. It then gets her a terrarium because I guess she likes growing things. I
Plants and
guess.
whatnot. Yeah.
And yes, and she gives it to her, and she's like, "Oh, it can also be an ornament," and hangs it front and center on the tree. And you can almost see the smoke coming out of Leah's mom's or Graham's mom's ears. She's just like, like a cartoon steaming. Not out of anger, just out of, "I have lost control, and I cannot have this happen on my perfect holiday." So mom's a little passive aggressive, and she tells Leah things like, "Oh, are you gonna change your sweater for the fancy dinner?" Well, Graham didn't tell her dinner was fancy, so she brought tacky Christmas sweater because she thought it was like home for the holidays kind of family. And if you haven't caught on yet, Graham sucks.
He really didn't do much to tee up anything that she would need to know, did he?
For a quirky family, you gotta give her some intel.
Please.
My gosh, he just set her up for failure. And it's awful because I think he's a nice guy. Now, this was the guy from Seal with the List, right?
It
The
was.
guy that you loved,
Yeah.
that you have recently declared was is your favorite movie of this genre.
Favorite of the genre. Yeah.
I was shooketh. I mean, I love it too. I just didn't know it was your favorite. So the
Yeah.
more you know.
Well, let me say why. Because I thought it was just a unique storytelling device. It had a lot of heart. I liked that it had a lot of rhythm to it. So, I mean, if you've not seen the movie, watch the movie, listen to our recap. It's a good one. This actor also in this one, and I think he's really good.
Yeah, I was tickled pink to see him in this. Because again, I don't feel like Hallmark promoted this one enough, so I wasn't really sure what I was in for, other than it was like sort of a Christmas Hanukkah movie.
Yeah.
Light
I didn't
on
like the
Hanukkah.
title. Let's get that out of the way. The title's not great.
Yeah. What is her perfect gift? This family?
Unclear. Yeah.
Okay. So they're all hungry because they've been decorating the tree for however long, and mom thinks she's a good cook. They tell her she's a good cook because they're scared to tell her the truth. She's a terrible cook, and she fixes really small portions. And so it's kind of this running gag that Leah's just hungry the whole time, which I appreciate because she's like, "I thought Christmas, like there was snackies everywhere and cookies and treats and stuff, and like it's like measly lean meat and some kind of awkward sides." And so she's starving at this meal. We learn that dad wants Graham to join the family business at the bank, of course. because everybody's got these parents in these Hallmark movies are super successful, right? We don't have anybody just like pushing paper 9 to 5. They're like, they've all got businesses that they want to pass down to their children.
Very well
The
off.
children are really excited about it.
Exactly.
Poor old graham cracker. So then Leah's like, "Ugh, I'm starving after this meager meal." And she sneaks out to a local store to get some sustenance. And the shop owner is like, "What? There's no snackies?" She agrees. That's crazy. What are you going to do? She then shares a gingerbread loaf with the shop owner and overshares way too much. But I really like the shop owner, so I support it. Leah is afraid the mom doesn't like her, rightfully so, and she's also afraid Graham won't propose if mom doesn't like her. So we really got to impress the parents here. Now, dad's on Leah's side because dad likes talking about apps all the time. And what do you know? Leah makes apps. So he'll, like, out of nowhere come up with, "Oh, you know what you should do for an app?" And it's always a terrible idea. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So that was funny. All right. So Leah sneaks back into like this mansion of a house where his parents live, and she sees mom removing the terrarium ornament housewarming gift that she'd gotten her from the tree. And she's like, "Ah, no." And then Graham takes Leah to the side and makes emergency mac and cheese. And he's like, "Hey, don't read too much into what mom does." He tries to pep her up and make everything better because, well, honestly, has there ever been a situation where mac and cheese has not improved it? I can't think of one.
Same here. I had to laugh at
Okay.
the blatant product placement we got, by the way. Did you catch it?
No, what was it, mac and cheese?
Well, this movie was brought to you by Campbell's. And so we got cans of Campbell's soup that were perfectly placed on the counter, which, as someone who has made their fair share of mac and cheese, I have never used a Campbell's product in so doing. Have you?
No.
No. It was a
I
weird
used
choice.
Campbell's for, like, a casserole. Was it a casserole?
They could have just as easily done a tomato soup and grilled cheese thing in that moment. It was a little weird for me.
Yeah, that's a stretch. I did not notice that, but I'm glad you did. Okay, so the next day, it's the gingerbread house activity, as they call it. And mom's kitchen has, it's everything's decorated. I noticed she has candy cane striped handles on her refrigerator, and I want them like giant poles. Anyways, she's freaking out because she can't find her phone. So Leah helps her find her phone and then drives her into town so that mom can have time to type out a list on the way of what she needs to get for the gingerbread thing. Is that, or she was helping somebody else? No, it was a pageant. There was a pageant going on Christmas Eve, I guess, which we never saw.
Never.
To call it a pageant, we'll get there. Okay. So while mom is doing that and Leah was basically her Uber driver, Leah is wandering around a Christmas market and it's very cute until she not accidentally knocks over some fragile items and it costs her $300 because she knocked over some Christmas vases. Merry
Oh,
Christmas to all. I liked this scene because, well, I didn't like it because it made me feel awkward, but that's also why I liked it. I think it was so well done that it represented like this, like, oh, you're mortified and you're also in a new place and you're probably kind of clumsy anyways because you're like, I don't really know what I'm doing, I'm trying to get my bearings of things. And I just really felt for her in this scene because the shop owner came out of the corner and was like, "Did I hear something clink to the ground? That'll be $300, please."
well, and the side effect of this too is she is so excited to be all in her Christmas feels because this is the first time she's doing it. And so she's sort of up here. And then all of a sudden she crashes like two vases that hit the ground. And pay attention to who this shopkeeper is. You're going to see her in a little bit. So stay tuned.
Now, do you say vase or vase?
It's a vase.
It's a vase. It's a vase. But okay, that night they have the gingerbread decorating contest, and they have 1 hour before the judging, which this is all news to Leah. She was like, "There's judging? It's a competition? What?" Turns out the winning design will be displayed at the pageant on Christmas Eve, and Leah, luckily, she's like, "I'm gonna impress these people. They're gonna love me." So she's been watching videos on YouTube like we all do to pregame, right? She breaks out a blowtorch. She's toasting marshmallows. She's wiring things by the end. Leah's chimney is smoking. She has individual shake shingles, a Mr. and Mrs. Claus completely 3D modeled. And, Graham's like falls apart and everybody else is just like, "How did you do this?" And she's like, "Yeah, I got it." Well, it turns out mom's a little jelly over this. So it sort of backfired. and did not endear Mom to Leah as one may have hoped. Graham held out important info that she should have thrown the competition. Again, Graham sucks. Wouldn't have been helpful to know. I'd be so upset. Graham gets her out of the house and they meet Santa and then they go back to the market, but it's a more positive experience this time. So good for Leah. The next day, they're going to build snowmen with another family, and Graham turns out used to date the daughter. Guess who the daughter is? The shop owner
There
that
you
charged
go.
Leah for the broken vases. And she says that her and Graham dated on and off for 3 years, and Graham never mentioned this to Leah. Can you imagine, like, how much egg you would have? Eggnog. You'd have eggnog on your face this
Everywhere.
moment.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? You'd be like, what else is this guy hiding from me?
Yeah,
The problem is he's not a bad guy. He's not a sleazy guy. He seems like a very good guy that's very into her. But what are you doing?
it's an oversight. I mean, to say to yourself, hey, we're going to go to this house and there's going to be this woman there that I dated for 3 years, and you're not going to tell your current girlfriend who's going along that choices.
It should probably come up.
Maybe.
So to pour salt in the wound further, Graham's mom is so warm and fuzzy with the ex-girlfriend, and the ex is way too handsy with Graham, or as she calls him, Graham Cracker, and I'm uncomfortable with all of it. So Leah, they can kind of pair up, and Leah's gonna work with the sister on their snowman for, I guess, she's thinking it's a competition. Leah's like, you know what? I'm gonna get the mom to like me. This time I'm gonna throw the competition. So I'm gonna make our snowman so ugly that it won't overpower the moms. Well, it turns out this is not a competition. It's an exhibition of their families coming together. And so now mom is upset with Leah because her snowman is fugly.
It was.
And did you have snowman tableau vibes from this?
I didn't. They actually looked surprisingly realistic. I was here for it.
I thought so too. So mom's not happy. Graham tries to divert the situation by starting a snowball fight, which is all well and good until Leah chunks a snowball and Graham dodges it and it hits his mom in the face. And then she calls her Barb instead of Barbara, which she had been warned about that part. Don't call her Barb.
Yeah.
And it's just like womp womp galore.
Not going well.
No. But we're all gonna try to rally. So it's Christmas Eve dinner, and mom and dad are come parading out in their house with the Christmas Eve goose. And this scene gave me warm fuzzies because the song they're singing is like, Christmas is coming, the goose is getting fat. Had you ever heard that song before?
Never. I
Aunt-
thought it was cute though.
So I know it, of course, from the Muppets.
There you go.
I've heard Miss Piggy. Well, I thought I had. I was like, am I having a fever dream or hallucination? I'm pretty sure I'm visualizing Miss Piggy singing this song. I found it on YouTube. So, and like more puppets come out and Muppets come out as the song goes on. So I loved that. I thought that was very fun, but also super cheesy. And if that happened in real life, I would be like, what is happening? Who are these people? And sister decides now is the perfect time to tell the parents she's not going to go to business school. She's choosing to start an artisanal pickle company with her friends.
Again,
And actually, the choices are made. The parents handle it better than one would think because they still have Graham, and he's the golden goose, right? Like he's gonna own the family biz, and so he hasn't told them no yet exactly. So there's still that hope, I guess, of one successful child. They change in their Christmas jammies for Christmas Eve, and Graham presents Leah with this gift in front of the whole family. Now, she's thinking a ring is coming at some point, right? Because they've been together a while and they've talked about the future. Instead, what she gets is a corporate America Christmas gift of like a Harry and David gift basket. Now, listen, I'm not above a Harry and David gift basket. I enjoy some seasonal treats. It's a little less personal for somebody you want to spend the rest of your life with, maybe.
well said.
So again, she's like, eggnog on my face. She was like, oh, you don't have to open my gift now. He's like, no, I want to. Again, in front of everybody, she had made a scrapbook of pictures of them on every one of their dates. They took a picture, which seems like
Every
a
day.
lot to do. Every date documented in a scrapbook that was very personal, very handmade, and very thoughtful. So Leah has a moment, let's just say, because surprisingly, she's held it together for the most part this whole time. She's broken. She runs upstairs and she's like, you know what? That's silly. Never mind. I'm sorry I gave you that gift. She goes to change out of the family pajamas and freaks out to her friend on the phone call in the bathroom and says it's suddenly like they don't know each other at all while she's eating some of the Harry and David gift basket. Now, I shouldn't say Harry and David. I don't know who it was because I don't think it was sponsored by Harry and David. But corporate seasonal gift basket.
You know the
Yep.
time.
You know, you've been there. You've done that. So the friend tries to talk her down off and, it's like, maybe there's another gift coming or, I wouldn't write him off yet, whatever. So she calms down. They go off to this pageant, which is a room with people dressed up and you dress up as your favorite Christmas character.
Hmm.
And so you get that, like you get some Dickens, you get some Mrs. Claus, you get him in costumes and that's kind of fun. But what's the pageant? There was no play or performance or anything, right? Did I miss
Yeah.
something? Did I fall asleep again?
It was not a pageant. They should have just called it a party. It was weird.
Yeah. So, Leah dressed up from Love Actually and put a sign around her neck that said, say it's Carol Singers, which is a funny scene. I thought that was good because that's like one of the Christmas movies she's seen, right? She probably hasn't seen all of the movies you and I have.
Right.
And maybe she should, right? So Graham finally tells his dad he's not going to come work for him. And dad's like, yeah, I know. I just was kind of holding out hope, but that's fine. The flirty shop girl's back, flirting with Graham, touching him inappropriately, didn't like this. And Leah's like, excuse me, I'm gonna, she says the summer sausage was distressing and excuses herself because she ate that cheese basket. That was such a funny throwaway line that it made me laugh. She stumbles upon Graham's mom crying in the coat check room. What? And mom tells Leah she admires her because she's accomplished. She's an independent woman. She didn't ruin Christmas like Leah thinks she does. She just doesn't want to lose her son. So again, this season we get the parents are really struggling, thinking they're losing their kids. This is the third movie we've covered with this plot. We had Christmas with the Sings. We had, what was the other one? Why am I blanking? Well, there was the Serena the Teenage Witch Moms kind of had a little bit of that going on.
Yep. The meddling moms.
And then
Yeah.
And then what was the other meddling dad one? Oh, the boot camp one to have in the holiday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So here we are again, except now it's a mom instead of a dad, and she's like, I'm sorry. And Leah is very warm and fuzzy now. They're reconciled. She's like, where's Graham? Nobody's seen him. Flirty shop owner apologizes and was like, I'm sorry I overstepped. Yeah, you think? Okay, get out of my way, flirty shop owner. She's trying to track Graham down, but they've shared their location. She finds him at the shop where she had the gingerbread loaf and overshared with the cool girl earlier in the movie. And then Leah's parents show up to the shop, and then Graham shows up out of the woodwork, and Leah's there like, I was just trying to get some snackies. What are y'all doing here? And they're like, oh, we were just coming to see you.
Sure.
Right back. They go back to Graham's house because they're all terrible liars and actors. Maybe that's why there wasn't a pageant because none of them can act.
That's right.
And guess what? It's a surprise proposal. He gets on one knee. That was his grandmother's. He had asked his mom if she could, let it go to give it to Leah. And he proposes. She says yes. He apologizes that, he didn't stick up for her more in this movie. The dads are hugging. And then the kids, which I say kids, the Leah, Graham, and his sister all waiting at the top of the stairs Christmas morning in their jammies, like you would, if you were a toddler, waiting to be able to come downstairs to open presents. And then turns out Barbara got Leah's parents Hanukkah jammies, which I appreciate. So we're integrating the families. And then they open up presents in slow motion to a montage of sorts. And then since mom forgot the turkey completely, I don't know, they all go out to eat a Chinese meal together, which is what Leah's family always does on Christmas Day. The end.
It's time for Gold or Coal.
Okay, it is time for our Gold or Coal segment, where we're each going to bring 3 gifts to this podcast. If there's more gold, it's jars of frankincense and myrrh. And if there's more coal, it's 2 broken vases to the tune of $300. Josh, I'm coming to you first. What are you bringing to the pod?
So I will give some gold to start. I really liked the leads in this movie. I thought The actress who played Leah did a really nice job of playing that fish out of water, but still in a way that was kind of funny and kind of endearing. You didn't really pity her, right? And that could have been the tendency here. And I really liked him, and I thought that they were a good couple. Yes, he was doofy because he let her down and didn't tee up any of the vital information that she needed to survive all of this, but, you know, couples live and learn, and hopefully this was a lesson in communication for them ahead of time.
And I'm gonna give some coal because Graham was not likable in that. I mean, he's likable, but what are you doing, bro? Come on. If you know your family is this crazy, because it's not like he was unaware. Him and his sister knew what they were walking into. He just didn't prepare her at all. And I'm sorry, I can't respect that. Mm-mm.
Fair enough.
Figure
Fair
it
enough.
out.
I'm giving some coal here. I wanted more backstory on mom, on Graham's mom. I wanted to know why she was the way she was, and I think that would have made her a little bit more endearing in the end because
Mhm.
she wasn't. And
Yeah.
we've seen Barbara Niven play this kind of role before, and there's always been a little bit more fleshed out to where you get it, and we really didn't get that in this. And accordingly, I really didn't like her all that much in the end.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I feel like they yada yada the end with her. I mean, they had that coat check scene, but it was like what led to her apologizing. Oh, didn't Graham say you're being too hard on her or something?
Yeah, but if it were that
Like got
easy,
a backbone, but
it wouldn't be that yeah. No.
yeah, that didn't feel like that made sense in that timeline. And yeah, what made her that way? What's to keep her from going back to those wicked ways after the Christmas jollies have settled? I just yeah, she was not likable. I feel like the dad in Christmas with the Sings was stern and crazy and put the guy through the ringer, but he was still endearing and lovable. And
Mhm.
I did not get that from her. Like it's not like Graham was super close with his mom or whatever. Yeah, I agree with you. I will give some gold. I liked that Leah celebrates Hanukkah, and it was not a "we're gonna convert you to Christianity and Christmas" movie. It was, "I'm still Jewish and celebrating Hanukkah, but hey, I also wanna see how your family celebrates traditions too." I thought that was well done instead of, like, I feel like sometimes with these movies, it's, "Oh, and now Christmas is the best way and the only way," and it's like, "No, like, you can do multiple things." So, I thought they
Yeah.
handled that pretty well.
My last gift will be gold. I liked the shopkeeper, and I liked that that was
Yeah.
sort of a detour for her. It was kind of a place of refuge in the craziness of all of this, and I liked that she just walked into that store and started just grabbing snacks everywhere. It gave it a little bit of levity, and I think it also gave this character in Leah a friend, and she needed a friend throughout this thing as she's trying to endure it, and I thought it was really well done. So, gold for that.
Yep. I will give some gold. I did laugh quite a bit at this movie. I thought it was pretty funny. It had a lot of quippy dialogue. There were as many awkward, mean moments as there were plenty of funny moments too. So, I
There you
enjoyed
go.
it.
Well, the
Mhm.
bottom line, Jennifer, we had 4 pieces of gold, 2 pieces of coal. We're gonna call it jars of frankincense and myrrh. Not my favorite one of the season, but I still really liked this one. I thought it was an interesting and fun and easy watch at the end of the day. What about you?
I think so. I've kind of started making a letterboxd account, like ranking the movies that I've watched this season on and off the podcast, just to kind of, for my own personal benefit of where do I put these? And it's really easy. You can like just drag them around and kind of, move some up and down. I think this is kind of upper middle of the pack for me, just because there have been so many that I've loved this season. I feel like more than usual. There have been fewer that I didn't like and a whole lot that I loved. So even I think this is a fine movie, but it's harder to get it to the top just because there's a few others that are in the way. But
Yeah.
I think it was good. I mean, I would say it's worth a watch. Is it one I'm gonna watch every year? Probably not, but I enjoyed watching it. So
Yeah.
there you go.
I think this would be a good one to watch with your in-laws, extended family, sitting around at Christmas, that kind of thing. Or folks who might be around your house for the holidays who aren't necessarily from a Christian tradition, right? I think as you said earlier, it's a really great kind of representation of trying to blend traditions and still move forward as a family and all of that, which I really appreciated.
And I did watch Hanukkah on the Rocks the other day, which is like the official, like the one full-fledged Hanukkah movie we're getting this season. And there was a lot to like there too. And it had Mark Summers as the Jewish grandpa.
Love
So
that.
love that. So if you're interested in more Hanukkah movies, check that out. Last year, what did we talk about? No, it was 2 years ago. Hanukkah on Rye.
Hanukkah on Rye, one of my all-time favorites. It's really great.
There were bubbies.
Oh,
There was mischief. It was so good. So yeah, check those out too. And that, friends, is another episode of Do You Watch What I Watch?
special thanks to our great friend Nick Shores for our amazing theme song, and a really big special thanks to each and every one of you for taking the time to listen to our podcast on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on our YouTube channel.
That's right. Speaking of, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We've been chugging out movie reviews all season long and past seasons. And I've heard from a lot of people they're going to start watching these movies. They haven't been watching them since October like we have. What?
What?
They're waiting until like Christmas break to watch them. So this is a great time to get connected. Everything you need to know is at doyouwatchwhatiwatch.com. Next time, we are going to stay on Hallmark Channel, and we're going to talk about The Santa Class with Kimberly Sested and Benjamin Ayers. And here's the plot summary. Kate North, the owner of a struggling Santa school, and her instructor Dan must help an amnesia-stricken Santa Claus regain his memories to save Christmas and hopefully her school as well. Well, we will have much to discuss, but until then.
May your days be merry and bright. We'll see you next time.